Welcome back everybody to the channel. Today we are taking a look at a 2024 Subaru WRX with the Sport Tech package and the 6-speed manual transmission. So we'll start off with the front end. You can see that not a lot has changed between 23 and 24. If you wanted to save money, you'd probably be safe with going for a 23 because they look similar, like so similar, it's crazy. But we have that black plastic on the bottom that a lot of you might not be fans of, but honestly I just think it adds to the ruggedness and it really matches the wheels. I like it. I am not going to complain about it. I think it makes the Subaru look rugged and makes it look like it's meant to drive in any weather, because it is. That all-wheel drive system is fantastic. So of course we have this usable front hood scoop, which looks fantastic as well. I really love to see that. It just adds so much detail to the front end. Daytime running LEDs as well as cornering functions for the main headlights. So all that's there and all that's fantastic. So let's actually take a look at what is under the hood for this year. We have a 2.4 liter turbo direct injection Subaru Boxer engine that's going to give us 271 horsepower, 258 pound-feet of torque. And yes, again, it is the 6-speed manual, not the boring CVT. And of course, across the board, we get that fantastic all-wheel drive. So let's quickly move it onto the side where you can see this, the blue color of the Subaru. This is the true color of the Subaru. I love to see them in this color. You know, it just looks really good. Again, you have that black plastic again on the bottom, but you know, if you're gonna bang your car around, the black plastic might not be a bad option to have. I know most people don't want to bang their car around, but things happen, right? I really like to look at these tires too, as well as these rims. They're nice blacked out rims, which we like, and we have a usable vent here in front which will funnel some air all the way back here to the rear wheel, which is very nice. We also have a sensor for the locking and unlocking of the car, so that might vary in the winter, I'm not sure. Little LED turn signal for the mirror here, which is also really nice. The blue just looks fantastic here for the side. Now quickly we will move on to the rear, which is another one of my favorite parts of the WRX, but we have a lot more black plastic. Here is where it kind of gets with the black plastic. There's a lot more than I think anybody would want or like, but it's growing on me. Honestly, it really is growing on me. I like the taillights too. They look super nice here in the back, as well as you have that quad exhaust. Look at that. I have already seen people, as you can see here, we have a baby spoiler here, but I've seen people already with this model do a massive spoiler and a huge exhaust for the back. And that thing just sounded incredible when it went by me. Like, this thing is stock, right? We picked them up stock, so there's nothing done to them, but it just looks fantastic. And last but not least, for the rear of the WRX, if you look closely in this rear window, you can actually see that there is a big subwoofer for the Harman Kardon sound system, which sounds fantastic. Let's open up the trunk as well. A decent amount of space in here. Got kind of like a window scraper, my tripod's in there. Decent amount of space horizontally. You can actually fold the seats down and you'll have a whole bunch more room, but there's nothing blocking you from putting anything in here. So it's very usable for that fact, and it's pretty nice. I think it's going to be very usable for a daily manual car. So let's actually take a look at the interior next, and then we'll take it on a POV drive. Alrighty, so up first is the back seat of the WRX. Check this out. So has some nice carbon fiber trim here. Don't know if that's fake or not, but also you get like a nice leather with the red stitching. I like that. And look at these seats. These seats are very nice. You get the suede inserts in the back too, as well as up in the front, which I'll show you in a bit, but very nice. Let's actually hop in so you can see the headroom and everything like that. So I have a ton of room behind my driver profile. Because this is a 6-speed manual, I tend to go a little bit closer. So I have just a bit more room now, but plenty of room under, you know, the seat for my feet and everything. And then also down here, we have 2 levels of heated seating, which is nice. And we have 2 USB normal chargers right there. There's no USB-C in this car, or I haven't found it yet, but I don't think there is. But yeah, these seats are very comfortable. They're on the firm side, obviously. I wouldn't expect much bolstering from the WRX because this is more of a driver-oriented car, but I could do a road trip in here, no problem. Also, you have this guy that's going to fold down to give you some cup holders back here, the standard stuff, and you get a nice view of the little sunroof up there and a nice view of the nice cockpit. So let's actually hop up front. Let's go. Alrighty, so next we're going to take a look at the front of the WRX. Again, same thing, kind of fake carbon fiber, maybe not. And then you see a nice Harman Kardon speaker down here, the 3 pedals. These seats are nice with the embroidered WRX. Again, very nice and suede inserts. Really like those. Let's hop inside, have a seat. Really easy to get into too. I actually don't have a problem. Maybe if you're of the older age, you might, but I am completely fine. So you hop in, greeted by this nice steering wheel. I love this steering wheel for the WRX. You have this little carbon fiber thing with the WRX logo. D-cut, feels really nice. The leather wrapping, really like that, as well as the red trim around it. So you have your basic steering wheel controls here for the WRX steering wheel, source, volume controls, a cruise control. There is no like automatic cruise control or anything like that because we don't have the eyesight. That's the CVT version, the boring version, honestly. So we don't have that. We have traction control off on the left-hand side, trunk button and illumination, and a whole bunch of dead buttons, which doesn't look the greatest. I said that on the last Subaru. It's just something they do that doesn't look the best. But then we have a good mix of analog and digital. I feel like for the Subaru WRX, it's kind of like the classic, and I can use these little buttons on my steering wheel to control the little digital part. I like to keep that boost gauge up there. That's kind of fun to use and look at. This boost gauge, there it is right here. Go back one. There it is. That boost gauge is the most fun thing to look at, and of course the speed is digital. But I do like the mix of the analog and the digital in this case. Then we move to our right here, and we have this big iPad looking thing. I feel like in the Impreza it was bigger. I'm almost certain it was, but the software stays the same. There isn't a whole lot of customizability in this one. I can't really change too many settings about my car. Like I can click the little car icon, but there's no sport mode. There's nothing. I mean, there's driver assistance, there's others, and then there's vehicle control, and that's about it, And also one thing that I noticed, okay, so here's where the climate control is. I'm looking for my heated steering button, and it is not there. Usually you would expect to find it here on the steering wheel, but it's just not there. And I don't even think it's on any of the trims for the Subaru this year, which is really unfortunate. It gets cold, Subaru. It freezes here in Quebec. I need hand warmth, especially if I'm going to be touching a cold 6-speed manual shifter, but more on that in a second. So we don't have built-in navigation either, but we do have the Subaru Starlink, could be controlled from the phone app, and we also have wired Apple CarPlay. I believe it's only wired Apple CarPlay, and that is the way I would have it anyways. So yeah, we do have heated seats though, no ventilation, but heated is enough. And then you have the dual zone automatic climate control as well, which is nice, and it's all controlled through here. So if you like physical buttons, you're gonna be out of luck for this version of the Subaru WRX. And then we move on down to this guy right here, the 6-speed manual transmission gear selector. Very nice feel to it. The knob is good. We have the reverse lockout, so pull that up and to the side to go to reverse. It is a very nice and smooth transmission, but I will tell you more about it when I actually take it for a drive. Manual handbrake, because I love to see that. Manual cars need a manual handbrake. I hate the ones that come with an electronic parking brake. It is disgusting. Get rid of it. It's not the way. It's just simply not the way. Anyways, so little tiny bit of storage back there with a little cigarette lighter kind of charger thing, and then we get a nice view of the seats and the rest of the interior, glove box, all standard stuff. It's not a boring interior by any means. I get the sporty feel. I get the rugged feel from the WRX. I get kind of where I am. It's meant to be driven on a gravel road, and that's where I'm filming. So I'm not going to drive on it, but I get the idea, and I really like that. And I love this, like the stitching breaks it up. There's a little nice carbon fiber, and these seats are very, very nice and comfortable. So let's take it on the road. Let me strap that GoPro to my forehead. Let's go for a drive. All right, so here we are in the WRX. We're taking it for a drive this year. So, there's not too many other features to go over that I haven't already told you about because there's really not much in terms of the driving assist. Because this is the 6-speed manual, you do get a little bit punished by way of maybe not getting as much features as some would want. So you're not going to get the eye sensing stuff or the different cruise control stuff, the automatic cruise control. You're not going to get the lane keep, nothing like that. So really it's just going to be about showing you how it drives and really talking about the clutch and transmission in this WRX for this year, which I'll tell you right now has been very, very lenient with me. I am not a normal manual driver, so I don't daily a manual. I don't own a manual that I can daily. So really the only experience I get with manuals is when I pick up manual cars like this, and I try to go out of my way to do it because it's a fun experience overall. Now, this car doesn't come with auto rev match downshifting, so if you're a newbie like me, that can be a little bit difficult at first. As you see, I over rev it right away, but it does kind of let me do it, and it doesn't really punish me too much for over revving or anything like that. It's really, really nice to me in those senses, which is nice. It does have a good bit of power. I'm already in second, so I'll show you. Just want to make sure that is not one of our friends in blue. Yeah, we do have a little bit of power in the WRX, a good amount of power actually. I'm not the best manual transmission driver in the world, but yeah. Second and third gear seem to be the most powerful gears. you know, in the power bands, but the power bands are also very, very short. So I do find myself like actively shifting a lot, like downshifting and upshifting. But that's helped me as somebody who needs to learn, get a grip on how it is to drive a manual transmission. Also, like the steering is so pointed this year. I remember seeing some concerns about the steering maybe not being up to par, but this year it is very, very pointed. I like the feel of it. Like the steering is like one to one. There's not a lot of lag behind it. Like it's really, really good. And the pickup is nice. And once it gets into boost, it's pretty much gone. And I can't wait to see like what modders would do with this, like what people would. I've already seen a couple of like 2023, 2024s WRXs come around like in my city here, and people have already added the big wing on them. They've already, you know, got bigger exhaust notes because the sound actually isn't that bad either. So yeah, overall it's a really, really good package here. It's really nice to drive. Like I said, I really don't drive manual that often, but I do try to do it when I can because it's a really fun thing to do. It's a really fun thing to try and enjoy as well. So, you know, and it's easy to adjust with this. Like the clutch is very easy. I really can feel the engagement point here, which is nice. And yeah, it's just, I like the feel of the steering wheel, the D-cut. The thing that sucks the most is the fact that we don't have any heated steering, like none at all. On any trim, I don't think. I don't know if that's being fixed for like the, you know, the next couple of years, but hopefully they at least put some warmth in. I don't think that hurts speed or anything like that, or at least it shouldn't. So I'm not exactly sure why it wouldn't be there, but for some reason it just isn't there this year. And honestly, when I was, you know, researching the WRX, I thought that I would have a little bit of a shorter throw for the transmission, but I don't. But honestly, it doesn't really hurt too much, like in terms of performance. I guess maybe you're not getting into gear as fast, but that's it. And also, like, the shift feels very good. Like when you click it into gear, you kind of know that you're in whatever gear you're trying to go into. It's got like a really good feel to it, which I liked as well. So overall, like the transmission is very well set up. It's very beginner friendly. You even have that lockout manual thing, so even if you put a little bit of pressure, it won't actually go into reverse by accident. So yeah, I really do feel like the WRX has lived with me as much as I've lived with it, you know, because it's such an adjustment when you go from automatic. Like I've been driving automatic basically all my life. I learned on automatic, but I wish I had learned on a manual because it's so much fun. Like the WRX is just fun to drive. And the nice thing is too, you have that all-wheel drive transmission, or that all-wheel drive system across all your trims, so you're going to be completely like safe in the winter. So that's why you're going to see a lot of these WRXs in the winter and stuff, because it's just an easy car to rely on in the winter. Also, it's just going to be even more fun. I can't imagine what sliding this guy around in the winter would feel like. So you guys let me know in the comments if you really like the WRX and you want to see me drive it more, especially in the winter. I will definitely pick it up again if I can. If it's still on our press fleet here in Quebec, I definitely will pick it up and show you guys all the wonders that we could have in the winter with it. Within reason, obviously I can't go crazy with it, but you know, we can test the all-wheel drive system in the WRX for real. And also, like, I don't know if you noticed, but I am bouncing around a little bit. I don't know if you can hear it, but like low speed, the suspension is like really bumpy. Like you do feel a lot, but the seats are really comfortable in the fact that they squeeze you and they hold you in place. So I don't ever feel like out of place in the car. I just feel like strange in terms of like I'm really bumping around sometimes. But also the Quebec roads are absolutely atrocious, so I can't really blame that either. There's also no adaptive suspension this year, so I don't get helped by that. But I'm not sure previous years if there really was adaptive suspension, so you know, you're kind of living with what we already had, which is, again, not too bad. But high speeds and like different terrains, like if you drive this on a dirt road, I've heard a lot of people say that this on a dirt road is really, really easy to drive, like no problem at all. So maybe on a dirt road, the suspension is made for that a little bit more. And also in the winter, maybe it's a bit softer. Oh, but it's so fun to just rip this thing. Oh my God. It's fun. I mean, it doesn't have a crazy amount of horsepower, but the feel of it, you know, the transmission is really decent. And oh my God, the boost, once you get in the boost with these cars, they're just so much fun. They're little rockets, you know, and it's just under the amount of horsepower that you're not really going to get in trouble with it too often unless you're really trying. But like, you know, it's easy to do the speed limit, but it's also very easy to really kick this thing into gear and to go absolutely nuts, which I love. I love the duality of that, and it's so much fun to use. So final thoughts for the WRX. The infotainment is great to have, but it is really busy. I would have liked to see the inclusion of more physical buttons. The manual transmission is very beginner friendly, so for my folks considering getting one in the manual transmission, I suggest you do it, especially like, you know, if you're just interested and you're an enthusiast, a car enthusiast. The WRX, I think, would be a really great place to start learning how to drive manual. It's, you know, like I said, it's forgiven me for so many things when I overrev the engine or do something I'm not supposed to do. It just kind of puts up with it, and it's like, you know, it'll correct me a little bit within reason, and I think beginners need a transmission like that. Definitely, you know, not being a normal manual driver, I definitely needed something like that. And the steering wheel feels great, the handling is great. So once you do get up to speed, you could be an absolute demon in this WRX. Like, you know, once, like, if I had this every day, I would be an absolute monster at manual driving. It would be, you know, nuts. I'd be burning the tires on this thing all the time. And it would just be a great car to own. I really do think so. And I think the people that own them, I get it now. I didn't get it before because I never really tried a WRX, but now I kind of get it. I get the appeal. It's cool. It's a lot of fun to own, and it's a lot of fun to drive around. I've only had it for a week, and I'm disappointed, honestly, that it's the end of the week and I have to make this video. So yeah, but I think that will do it for this video and the WRX. If you want to see more of the WRX, there should be another video of what it's like to actually live with it, where I kind of film my daily life every day living with the Subaru WRX. If you want to see that, it should be live on the channel right now, so you can check that out for yourself. And also make sure you subscribe, like, all that stuff, so I can give you more WRX content and other manual stuff that I get. If you guys like seeing the manual stuff, you got to subscribe and like, so that I can go to companies and, you know, get their cool manual transmission cars and show them to you. So with that being said, I'm gonna go ahead and get out of here. Again, make sure you like and subscribe. I'll see you in the next week. See you in the next car. Take care.